What's up everybody, Nate here from Out of the Basement, bringing you a brand new action figure review. Today from Star Wars The Black Series, we are taking a look at Padme Amidala from The Phantom Menace. And here we are, another non-Jedi, non-clone prequel character. Like I said in my review for Anakin, which if you haven't seen that, definitely check it out. We have been asking for this kind of thing for a long time, so it's great to see more characters from the prequel movies that aren't just clones and Jedi. And we do have a Padme from Attack of the Clones, but it's always nice to see her in this outfit as well. For me, this is the one I remember the most from Phantom Menace, and of course recently seeing it on the big screen has also really helped my appreciation of this figure. So let's take a look at the packaging here. It's in the Galaxy slanted box still. We got the yellow Phantom Menace coloring. Then we also have the mural art on the side, which looks really nice, and a pretty good shot of Naboo in the background. We have her bio on the back if you want to pause it and read it now. She's also the third figure in the Phantom Menace subline. And here's the barcode on the bottom of the box. So let's go ahead. We're not going to waste any more time. We'll get this figure open. We'll take a look at her 3 accessories and then the figure itself. So first up, she does have a couple accessories we saw with the Attack of the Clones release. We do have her hideaway pistol here. This time it is unpainted, unfortunately, missing the brown on the hilt, and then of course the actual blaster part is usually more silver than this, but it can still articulate, so this barrel can be pushed in and create the more snubbed look as well. And we also have her alternate hand here, which is the tight gripping hand for this blaster, and it fits perfectly inside. Now for a little bit of new though, we do have this brand new blaster that we haven't seen in the line before. We see her wield this at the end of Phantom Menace, and they actually did a really nice job on this one. You could definitely tell they spent the budget painting this one up. We got a little bit of brown, we got some silver on the scope, and this is a brand new sculpt as mentioned before, and it looks really awesome. Great detailing on this piece here. And here is Padme out of the packaging, looking pretty damn awesome. I definitely have some very minor nitpicks about the figure itself, but it's always worth noting when something like this is a 100% brand new figure. There is no reuse in terms of the actual sculpt itself. We also have quite a bit of paint on it for a modern Black Series figure as well, which is always nice to see these days. The costume does have some very, very minor inaccuracies, mostly related to the paint. However, I don't think it's really a huge deal, but as always, it's definitely worth pointing out. And unfortunately, like a lot of people, mine also suffers from some QC issues, mainly with the face print. So let's go ahead, we'll get her off the stand, and we'll take a closer look at those details. So like a lot of people have been experiencing, unfortunately, I am in the same boat here as well. Many collectors out there who have got this Padme figure have experienced that the eyes are actually printed a little too high on her face, and mine is the same. You can definitely see where the sculpt is supposed to be, and the paint hit was just a little too high up for the eyes, so she kind of looks like she's got some really big bags under her eyes, like she's very tired, which is disappointing. And of course, you know, it's always a problem when you order stuff like this offline. You have no way of being able to inspect the paint apps. From far away, I don't think it's too bad. You know, you can't really notice, but up close it sticks out like a sore thumb. Otherwise though, I do think the sculpt for the head is really nice for a young Natalie Portman. They did a really great job including her little freckle details, and you can see that they sort of fixed the hairline issue that we saw with the prototype. They just kind of oversprayed a little bit with the paint to cover up the extreme 5 head that the prototype image had. And you know, I do think they did a pretty good job with that. Again, it's something that up close looks kind of bad, but when you put her back, you're like, oh, that's not so bad. And in all honesty, you're going to be looking at her from a distance once she's on your shelf. So something like that, I'm glad they did it. I would have rather them did this than not fix it at all, because those prototype images were definitely a little rough. And the hair itself is well done. You can see they've sculpted that big old bun in the back, and it just looks awesome. You know, Padme's always got to have her crazy hairstyles going on, and this is no exception. And I do think they did a really nice job on the details of the costume. The gold paint is nice and vibrant and reflective, looks very good. and it goes all the way down on the sides of the costume itself, and there's even some intricate sculpted detailing in there as well. She does have another paint hit right on the buckle, and they did go a little bit of the extra mile and gave us the pink inside of the sleeve and around the cuff of her arm, which is a detail that is pretty hard to notice in the movie, but it is present. Although on the same note there, the inside of the bottom piece here should also be that same pink color, which they did not do. Obviously, I would have to chalk that up to budgetary reasons. That would be a lot of paint on the inside of the costume. And while that might bug some people, personally, I don't see it as a huge issue. But as always, it's worth pointing out. And then down to the feet, unlike Anakin, she does actually have just a little bit of weathering, although I'm not quite sure what it's supposed to be exactly. To the naked eye, it does have a little bit of a brownish look to it, but on camera, it almost has a straight up white appearance. And while it could have been done slightly better, I do just appreciate that they at least put something on the boots of the character. So again, for a standard Black Series figure, she actually does have quite a bit of paint on her, and she includes 3 accessories. So I gotta say the value here on Padme is actually pretty damn good. And just in general, I think they did a great job sculpting the costume. Everything looks like she just jumped out of the Phantom Menace into my review station, so I am pretty satisfied with the details here. She does also have some pretty decent articulation. She can look up pretty far. She can also look down very far here as well. She has the double neck peg, and then of course, you know, you can get the side to side tilt there, and of course, full movement around. These shoulders can move up pretty much straight forward. They do have rotation all the way. No butterfly joints on Padme. We do have a single elbow that gives you more than 90 degrees, even though she's got this nice big poofy sleeve. We do get some rotation there as well. And for the grip hand, it can rotate around, and she does have the vertical hinge on this hand. And on the other hand, we do get that same rotation, but she has the horizontal hinge. For her ab crunch, she can go just a little bit forward. Actually, not too bad for a Black Series figure. And she can go back pretty far. We also have side to side and swivel. The legs can kick out about straight forward. No thigh swivel, but she does have that little bit of hip range there to compensate. Just a little bit of kickback. Of course, the soft plastic skirt inhibits that a little bit. She can actually do the splits pretty well if you move the legs out from under the skirt piece. We have a single jointed knee. Gives you just a little bit more than 90 degrees and swivels. And for the feet, they can move down very far. They can move up just a little bit, and she does have ankle pivot. So pretty standard Black Series articulation. I would have liked to see some butterfly joints on this figure, or at least the new barbell joint. But I think just like Anakin, these figures might have been produced a little bit earlier in the timeline and just only recently made their way out. But still, for a character like Padme, you can pretty much get her into any pose that you could possibly want. So I think the articulation that she does have is pretty good. And as far as the scale goes, I think they also did a great job here. We're starting things out with the Black Series Deluxe Jar Jar Binks and the brand new Phantom Menace Anakin Skywalker. And I think these 3 look great together. Next up, here she is with Qui-Gon Jinn and Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi. And we'll follow those 2 up with the archive release of Darth Maul and the original B-1 battle droid. And last but not least, we have her with the Attack of the Clones Padme and the Disney Elite Series TC-14. And so overall, I think she is another great release here from the Black Series. We actually get quite a few accessories and some decent paint apps here, which, as most of you know, is something that is a little too few and far between in the Black Series these days. So it's always nice to see a new figure that has some new sculpting, a couple accessories, and some paint on it. So yeah, I would definitely recommend picking up this Padme. She's definitely essential for the Phantom Menace display. I hope one day maybe we can get the Queen Amidala version of her. I think that would just be so incredible, even though it would most likely be a traffic cone. But for now, this one is definitely going to work for me on my shelf. And of course, I would love to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you picking up Padme, or are you leaving her on the shelf? Let me know. And as always, if you enjoyed my review, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you are new. We're always talking about Star Wars The Black Series here on the channel. I'm Nate from Out of the Basement. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.